Welcome to episode 11 of your CYSA Plus Prepcast. Today we're exploring one of the most forward-thinking and proactive approaches to cybersecurity: attack surface management, often abbreviated as ASM. In a world of expanding digital footprints, cloud environments, third-party dependencies, and constant change, managing the attack surface has become a critical function for every security team. Understanding how to identify, assess, reduce, and monitor exposed assets is no longer optional. It is foundational to maintaining a strong security posture, defending against real-world threats, and meeting the demands of regulatory frameworks. In this episode, we will break down what ASM entails, how it's implemented, and why it's essential both for operational success and for your CYSA Plus exam preparation. Let's begin with a working definition. Attack surface management refers to the continuous process of discovering, mapping, monitoring, and reducing the digital footprint that could potentially be exploited by attackers. It includes identifying external-facing assets, services, applications, configurations, and vulnerabilities that may expose the organization to risk. ASM is a dynamic, not static discipline. It acknowledges that environments change frequently and that continuous visibility is required to track how the attack surface evolves over time. Security analysts use ASM to gain an accurate picture of what the organization looks like from an attacker's perspective. The term attack surface describes the collection of all entry points that an adversary could potentially use to gain unauthorized access to systems or data. This includes open ports, misconfigured web servers, exposed APIs, forgotten subdomains, cloud storage buckets, unpatched applications, and even third-party integrations. ASM focuses on mapping these components comprehensively and continuously, helping organizations understand what is truly exposed and where immediate remediation is required. A well-managed attack surface is smaller, more controlled, and easier to defend. The starting point for effective ASM is asset discovery and inventory. Analysts use specialized tools and techniques to identify all digital assets across the organization, particularly those exposed to the internet. This includes domain names, IP addresses, publicly accessible APIs, SaaS applications, and cloud environments. Without an accurate inventory, there is no effective way to protect the environment. Attackers use tools like Shodan and search engines to discover exposed assets. ASM ensures that defenders are using equivalent or better techniques to stay ahead. Edge discovery is a specific and essential subcomponent of asset discovery. It focuses on identifying external-facing assets that sit on the perimeter of the network. These are often the first systems attackers will encounter, making them prime targets for scanning and exploitation. Analysts search for exposed login portals, outdated CMS platforms, remote desktop services, and other systems that provide access to internal resources. By identifying and analyzing the perimeter, organizations can reduce unnecessary exposure and ensure these assets are hardened against attacks. Passive discovery methods provide an additional layer of insight. Unlike active scanning, passive discovery relies on analyzing existing data sources without directly interacting with the target system. Analysts use threat intelligence feeds, DNS records, certificate transparency logs, and internet web scanning databases to uncover assets that may not be captured through conventional means. Passive discovery is especially useful for identifying shadow IT systems, those deployed without proper authorization, or uncovering abandoned infrastructure still associated with the organization's brand or IP space. ASM is not just about discovery, it's about testing and validating security controls. Once assets are discovered, analysts perform vulnerability scanning and security assessments to identify misconfigurations, software flaws, and outdated services. These scans are conducted regularly and provide a baseline for measuring the organization's current exposure. ASM also includes penetration testing, which simulates real-world attacks against the identified assets to determine whether exploitation is possible. Penetration tests go beyond surface scanning to validate the effectiveness of existing security controls and response capabilities. Adversary emulation is a deeper and more structured extension of penetration testing. In this context, analysts replicate the tactics, techniques, and procedures or TTPs, used by known threat actors to assess how well the organization would fare against realistic attack scenarios. These exercises help validate security detection capabilities, refine incident response workflows, and expose weaknesses in organizational coordination. Adversary emulation provides a true-to-life view of risk and is a critical step in ASM maturity. Bug bounty programs also play a role in attack surface management. In these programs, ethical hackers are invited to find and report security vulnerabilities in exchange for financial rewards or public recognition. These researchers often identify vulnerabilities that internal teams may overlook. Organizations integrate bug bounty findings into their ASM workflows to ensure that valid reports lead to prioritized remediation. Bug bounty programs expand the eyes looking at the organization's assets and are increasingly used as part of proactive risk reduction. Reducing the attack surface is the ultimate goal of ASM. Once vulnerable or unnecessary assets are identified, organizations take steps to eliminate them. This could involve decommissioning obsolete systems, consolidating redundant services, disabling unused ports, restricting access through firewall rules, or ensuring proper authentication and encryption on exposed services. Analysts are responsible for recommending and implementing these changes to reduce exposure and tighten control of the external environment. Documentation supports every stage of ASM. Analysts must maintain up-to-date asset inventories, document the results of vulnerability assessments and penetration tests, track remediation activities, and produce reports for stakeholders. This documentation supports audit readiness, ensures accountability, and enables future analysis. Clear documentation allows organizations to track trends over time and demonstrate improvements in reducing their attack surface. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are more security courses on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. To make attack surface management truly effective, organizations must embrace continuous monitoring as a foundational principle. The attack surface is constantly changing due to software updates, new cloud deployments, remote workforce expansion, mergers and acquisitions, and third-party integrations. Analysts implement automated discovery tools that continuously scan for new assets, configuration changes, and emerging vulnerabilities. These platforms provide real-time visibility and alerts, allowing security teams to detect and respond to newly exposed systems before they can be exploited. Integrating ASM data into centralized security platforms enhances visibility and decision-making. Vulnerability management tools, security information and event management systems, and compliance dashboards benefit from the inclusion of ASM data. When asset inventories, scan results, and risk metrics are centralized, organizations gain a unified view of their risk posture. This integration allows analysts to correlate findings, prioritize remediation, and report on progress across all layers of the organization. It ensures that ASM is not siloed, but actively supports broader cybersecurity operations. Once vulnerabilities are identified through ASM processes, rapid remediation is critical. Security teams must respond quickly to address configuration weaknesses, patch known issues, or remove exposed assets altogether. ASM provides the necessary context for prioritizing these remediation activities based on asset criticality, business function, and exploitability. Timely remediation prevents attackers from leveraging newly discovered weaknesses and helps ensure compliance with regulatory timelines and internal service-level objectives. Secure baseline configurations also play a key role in effective SM. Organizations define standard configuration settings based on industry benchmarks, like the Center for Internet Security or National Institute of Standards and Technology guidelines. These baselines include requirements for system hardening, logging, encryption, authentication, and remote access restrictions. Analysts use configuration management tools to enforce and monitor these settings across assets identified during ASM processes. This helps prevent configuration drift and ensures that newly discovered systems are secured according to organizational policy. Automation significantly enhances the effectiveness of ASM. Analysts rely on platforms specifically designed for external asset discovery, vulnerability scanning, and attack surface visibility. These tools may include services like Census, Shodan integrations, and commercial attack surface management solutions. Additionally, traditional vulnerability scanners like Nessus, Qualys, or Rapid7 are often configured to include ASM-informed asset group. Automation not only speeds up detection and reporting, but also enables continuous protection by reducing manual workload and ensuring full coverage. Risk-based prioritization is essential in ASM. Not all exposed assets present equal risk. Analysts evaluate discovered assets based on the severity of vulnerabilities, presence of exploit code, asset value, compliance implications, and known threat activity. Assets exposed to the internet that host sensitive data or critical services are remediated first. This prioritization ensures that resources are applied where they will have the most impact and helps organizations reduce their highest risk exposures quickly and efficiently. Reporting ASM findings to leadership and stakeholders keeps everyone informed and aligned. Regular reports should include the number of new assets discovered, top vulnerabilities identified, the current status of remediation efforts, and high-level trends over time. Analysts often create visual dashboards to show changes in attack surface size, levels of exposure, and the impact of mitigation efforts. Reporting reinforces accountability, supports budgeting decisions, and highlights where additional resources may be required to address persistent security gaps. Training is a vital part of sustaining ASM capabilities. Organizations provide ongoing training for analysts, IT staff, system administrators, and development teams to ensure everyone understands their role in managing the attack surface. Training covers topics like asset discovery techniques, secure deployment practices, misconfiguration risks, and coordination during remediation efforts. Awareness initiatives help teams understand that ASM is a shared responsibility, not just a task for security teams, and they foster collaboration across departments. During security incidents, ASM plays a valuable role in rapid response. When a breach or compromise is detected, ASM data helps analysts quickly identify affected systems, external exposures, and potential entry points. This accelerates containment and remediation. ASM also supports post-incident review by highlighting how the attacker may have gained access and what changes need to be made to prevent similar events in the future. Effective ASM integration into incident response workflows enhances organizational agility and resilience. Continuous improvement is the final layer of a mature ASM program. Analysts routinely assess the effectiveness of current tools, methodologies, and procedures. They review incident trends, vulnerability patterns, and coverage gaps to improve detection techniques, adjust asset categorization strategies, and refine prioritization models. Feedback from red teams, bug bounty participants, and security researchers is also used to improve detection and reduce blind spots. ASM is never finished. It is a living discipline that evolves alongside the environment it protects. To conclude, Episode 101, Attack Surface Management, is a proactive, dynamic discipline that allows organizations to see themselves the way attackers do. By continuously discovering, analyzing, and reducing exposed assets, organizations dramatically improve their ability to defend against threats. ASM is not a standalone function, but a foundational layer that supports vulnerability management, incident response, compliance tracking, and strategic decision-making. Mastering ASM practices not only prepares you for CYSA Plus certification, but also positions you as a forward-thinking analyst, ready to tackle modern cybersecurity challenges with clarity, structure, and confidence. Thanks for listening. To learn more about cybersecurity, please visit baremetalcyber.com. There you will find best-selling books, videos, and even more free cybersecurity training courses. Please subscribe to the Prepcast and our various podcasts. And thanks for listening.